Welcome back to Just Quit, the podcast putting a battery in your back to quit your day job. I'm your host, Darius Ricks, and we're joined by my best friend, godmother, my daughter's godmother, Claudia Rosario. Claudia, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing swell. So could you tell our audience just a little bit about who you are, what you do, name of your business?
Okay, my name is Claudia. I do nails. I've been doing nails for almost 11 years. The nail Genie. And I started owning my own suite about to be 4 years now.
Okay. So before you started owning your own suite, did you work in other people's salons, studios? Like, what was it before you kind of went out on your own?
Yeah, so before this, I worked at 3 different salons. And it's fine. I mean, the last one I worked at was 5 years before I think it's time. It was fine. It's a good learning curve. You learn, like, seeing the owners of those salons, what they did, what they didn't do. You kind of, like, learn, like, takes little tips and tricks of, like, what's better when you're on your own or doing it on your own. But, yeah, it's just, I learned a lot along the way.
Yeah, so it was kind of, and I, just to kind of bring it back to me for a little bit, like, I always told people, well, I told the people I could trust.
Right.
When I was at my last job, I literally told people, yeah, this is just an intern. This is the best internship I ever had. Like, I was a 6-figure intern. Like, I used every experience I could to try to put myself in a scenario to prepare myself to be my own boss.
Right.
Like, I was taking meetings with city councilors. I was taking all the client calls. I was trying to do my best to, like, put all the materials together for meetings, because I knew once I go out on my own, these are things I want to do.
Right.
So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna pay myself to get for the practice.
Correct.
So you mentioned a piece where it was like, yeah, this is time to go. What was that time like? Explain to me, or give me the story of, like, when you realized, like, yeah, it's time for me to get up out of here.
So there's 2 things. One, my husband and I had just bought a house, and it was way further from that salon than I was originally. So that was one motivator. And then, again, 5 years, like, it's not a long time, it's not a short time, but after a while, I just didn't want to drive there. I would wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I just don't want to be there. Like, the environment was not the girls themselves or the salon itself. It's just, I felt like we were in an area that just didn't fit me. And it's like, okay, 5 years, I think that's a good number. It's time to go. Like,
so how long was it between that time where you had that aha moment, yeah, it's time for me to get up out of here, and you actually following through and signing that lease for the studio? Or for the suite, sorry. I
want to say within the same year. I feel like within a year, I was like, okay, I'm getting tired. And then the buying the house was that push of, like, okay, girl, an hour to drive to your job, to me, was not worth it. So I signed, we bought our house, and I think I signed for the suite, I think within the same week or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, I don't think I really knew that.
Yeah.
Again, time is fake, so it's hard to really keep up. So what did you do within that year before you bought the house and before you signed up for the suite? Like, what were you doing to prepare yourself mentally, financially, spiritually? Like, how did you build up the courage and the confidence to, okay, it's one thing to say it and think it, but
right.
to step out there and do it?
There was no time. There was no prepare. There was no nothing. Honestly, I think it's crazy to say it, but I think if we never would have bought the house, I don't know if I would have left at that moment. I probably still would have been there. Maybe not right now, obviously, but I think that buying the house is one of the bigger motivators, actually, than me being tired of doing my job. Well, not doing the job, because I love doing nails, but working at the salon. But I didn't prepare. I'm just like, I saw my friends do it. I had friends who had their own suite in the same area, in the same space. And I would go there on my days off just to visit them and chit chat and whatever. And I would walk around the area and I'm like, it looks like a cool place to be at. Why not? You know? And then one of the times I went to visit them before we got the house, I asked them if they had a suite available. And she's like, we actually do. I was like, oh, can I go see it? And she showed me the suite. And that day, I took a video of the suite. I sent it to my husband. I was like, I think I want to do it. It was just that. There was no, preparing, no nothing. And then we signed for the house, and I'm like, I think I'm going to do it.
So you think it worked out better for you, that you didn't overthink it and overanalyze it? You felt it in your spirit, and you just like, yep, I'm going to just go.
Definitely. I feel like you know me enough to know I'm an overthinker. Okay? I will overthink anything down to like, what am I going to wear? You know, like simple stuff. What am I going to wear to Walmart? Why? Like, girl, just put your Crocs on and go. Like, what? But I think it did work out better because I know that if I would have sat with it for a day or two, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Gotcha.
I know that for a fact.
So after you signed and you're over the hump, the adrenaline's gone away. It's like, damn, now I've signed up for an 18-month lease, 12-month lease, whatever it might be. When that hits you, at that point, you start to think. What did you think at that point was going to be the hard part? And then what actually ended up being the hardest part, making the transition?
I think for me, because I even talked about it before I left the salon, I think for me, I thought the hardest part was going to be managing all the clients and stuff. But then I got an app, and I barely talk to them unless they need me. And I think that the hardest part now is just keeping up with the products, honestly. Because since I'm by myself, I'm not working with anybody, I'm doing everything. I have to check inventory. I have to like make sure my schedule is right. I have to make sure I block the days that I need to be blocked or whatever. And I can't keep up with the products because I don't use them as much since I'm by myself. So like it could be a color that everybody uses, but I am not always on top of how much is left because I'm by myself. Like if there were other people there and be like, oh, hey, we're running low on this or we're running low on that, I could be on top of that. But I don't notice I'm running low on anything sometimes until the day I use it. I'm like, oh, now it's going to take a week to get here. Great, you know?
So how have you, like what systems or like processes have you tried to put in place to try to keep yourself from hitting those?
Doing that?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's crazy because, I mean, I'm organized, obviously, but I try to just see what color I'm being used more. Like, if there's a color that I know, okay, there's reds, right? For example, there's so many reds out there. And if one red looks similar to another red, I just won't buy that red for a while. Unless somebody asks for it, you know?
Right.
Sometimes I'll think I have a color, and then people will be like, oh, I want this color. I'm like, great. That's the one color that just got out. But also, I don't want to make an order for one color. That's another problem. So I try to like pile up the amount of colors that I need before I make like a big order. I'm not gonna pay whatever for shipping for one thing, you know?
Yeah. So just to go back a little bit, in the transition, you mentioned the clients a little bit. Were you able to bring some of your clients with you? Did you have to start over with a whole new book? Like, how'd that work for you?
So I was able to mention it myself on like Instagram, you know, but I tried to be very careful because some salons have you signing contracts like no solicitation, no, you know, non-compete or whatever. So I tried to be very careful to not post as much or like any big announcement. I waited a year to make a big announcement like, oh, I got my own spot, whatever, blah, 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 just to be safe. Wow. But, you know, once you leave a salon, like people have my number, people have my Instagram. They could DM me, they could text me. I'm not going to not tell them where I'm at, you know? So I was fortunate enough to have clients still come to me from prior, like, knowing them, you know? But I have a few new clients, but most of my clients are still from my old spot.
So one of the things you mentioned was just the price and the cost of materials and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you may have had to raise your prices now that you have to pay your own full rent for your own establishment. How did you deal with or hand over that message of, hey, I love you, but prices are going up?
Right.
Like, how did you handle that?
My clients are very understanding. I have clients now who really
sounds like your clients are very, very wealthy. But go ahead, go for it.
No, my clients love me. I love my clients. I have clients even now who are like, girl, you should charge more. I'm like, no, it's all right. Like, I think I may have changed my price once and then haven't since, because I do very well with, again, organizing how much I need. The suite is, it seems like it's gonna be a lot. It's actually not as much compared to other places or whatever. But I do very well with my finances, in the sense of like, okay, I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm like, in one day I can make the salon what I pay in a week. So it's like, all right. I mean, honestly, like, that's what I'm saying. It's a week by week basis at the suite, right? Mm-hmm. So what I make in a day sometimes can cover that week, and then everything else I just have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily raise my prices as much as other people, maybe yearly, sorry. But I've never had to raise my prices since that one time. Yeah. And me going to clients is just, hey, and they're like, I know, I get it. And that's it. And you keep it moving. So.
Gotcha. So you touched on it a little bit, and I want to expand on a little bit more of just kind of, once you make that decision and you're the only one, there's no parachute, it's you figuring it out by yourself.
Yeah.
People don't understand one of the biggest kind of changes, or the biggest change from being an employee to the boss, is the fact that there's no off switch. You're always on. You go from 9 to 5 to 24/7. Right?
Right.
So how do you balance, okay, I'm Claudia the wife, I'm Claudia the operations manager, I'm Claudia the stocking clerk, I'm Claudia the stylist. Like, how do you balance all these different things at the same time?
I try. It's crazy, right? Because it's like, oh, be an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7. But I also try to have an off switch when I'm out of the salon. Like, once I walk out those doors, I'm like, I might not respond as much or whatever. Like, the next day it could wait. It's not that urgent. If I do see your message, if it's not an urgent message, I'll wait till the next day, like when I'm at work. But I still try to do that off switch. Like, people, they clock out at 5 o'clock. Some people are like, leave it there, whatever. 24/7, still, to me, there's an off switch for me, for my mental. Because if not, then I'm going to drive myself nuts. And my clients get it. I'll text them the next day, it's fine. But it is hard to want to have a life. I have a life, obviously. But, want to go on vacation or whatever, and you still have a business to run. So I'm still answering texts, obviously, but I feel like I choose a time. Let's say I get out of work. I'll choose maybe within the first hour of that I'm off. I'll respond to everything, and then I won't respond anymore. Like, I'll try to do that, like balance my time in that way.
So how long did it take you to figure out what those boundaries would be? Because, like, for me, like we were talking about it off camera, the first year it was hard, because I felt like I had so much time. So, like, let me feel it.
Right.
But then I realized I'm the one burning myself out. I'm the one booking my calendar.
Right.
And I'm the one going from appointment to appointment every 15 minutes. Like, and it took me time, and I'm still understanding it's a balancing act. There's
Correct.
no balance. Like, you're constantly working on it.
Right.
So it's like, how long did it take you to figure out what kind of works for you?
It's crazy. It started before I even did the en suite thing. Because remember, when I was working at the salon before owning the suite, it was the same. I used to tell them, that last year I was like, okay, I need a lunch. Like, I need this time, every day I need a lunch. I am not answering this, that. So it kind of started then. And then once I own my own thing, I'm like, okay, I have to keep this going. Like, I have to block out a time for me to have lunch. I have to block out a time for me to go do something that I need to do on my day-to-day or whatever, because I work usually during the week. I have to take myself one day to, do my day-to-day thing. So it started then.
Gotcha. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, what's something that most entrepreneurs overlook making the transition that end up, costing them money, time, or time and money? Like, what was it that you were like, dang, I wish somebody would have told me about this, or I wish I would have been more proactive about this one thing so I didn't have to learn the hard way?
I mean, overall, I think people don't realize, back to what we just were talking about, I don't think people realize it is a 24/7 job. I I wish I had an assistant, honestly. Like, and I don't need nothing crazy, but I feel like at the end of the day, as long as you have people who are going to be there for you, like support you, it doesn't necessarily have to be just about the job, but as long as you can have somebody that you can talk to about the same situation or like kind of understand what you're going through or that are going to support you, I think it works. Again, I wish I had an assistant, but whatever. But it's just, again, back to what we were saying, 24/7. I don't think people understand that it's not that easy.
So you mentioned people, right? That's something I think is really important. I always try to make sure I ask my guests, how did the interactions with the people around you, your friends, family members, how did that change once you made this decision and then you ultimately found success? Like, how did those relationships change? Did they change at all?
They didn't. If anything, they're my biggest hype man. Like, I am very quiet when it comes to things that I do. So like rooms that I've been in, I'll never talk about it. Even if I didn't sign an NDA, I won't say it. Like, they're the ones that are like, oh, did you know she did so-and-so's nails? Or did you know she was able to meet at so-and-so? Like, it's even better now because they're like, finally, girl, you're able to do your own thing. You know, I'm in a creative space. Like, so for them, it was no different for me. They, if anything, they're even more supportive and more motivating now that I'm on my own than it was before, which is crazy.
Oh, just to kind of take a step back, she mentioned NDAs. If you weren't aware, Claudia is your favorite nail tech's favorite nail tech. But yeah, I'm gonna just let that sizzle a little bit, right? So if you were to give advice to somebody else, of course it's about building the proper support system and all that good stuff. Do you have any, I guess, tips to understand or identify the people that really are your true supporters and aren't just kind of just there for the ride?
Yeah. Again, like if they're gonna hype you up more than you're gonna hype yourself, I feel like that already is an indicator that they're there for you. You know, like, or listen to you when you're talking to, even if they don't understand what's really going on, like somebody who can like just listen to you when you're explaining to them, or like, hey, look, I had a bad week because of this or that or whatever. Like, as long as you have somebody like that or multiple people like that, I think that's your best bet. And I feel like that shows you who's going to be there for you. Because many people could say they'll be there for you, but once you start talking about it, they yawning, they looking the other way or whatever, they don't answer phone calls, like, then you weren't there for me to begin with. Like, so.
Okay, so going from grown-up personal decisions to grown-up business decisions.
Oh, God.
What was one of the things you wish you did business-wise to start off with that you didn't do?
Business-wise?
Yeah.
Probably have more money. I wish I had more money. Because, again, I literally, I didn't prepare.
So how much money do you think someone, let's make it specific to your industry, right? Somebody looking to make the same transition that you're going to make, living in Miami, want to get a studio in the Miami area.
Yeah.
How much money do you think they should have to make the transition? It doesn't have to be exact, but if you can give a ballpark.
Oof, that's hard. I think for me, I don't know if I could give a number, but I think that if you know how much your suite is going to cost, times that. Like, say, try to have like 2-3 months ahead. If you know what your average cost is for your products, try to have that 2-3 months in advance.
Okay.
Because
so a 3-month buffer of all your expenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's hard. It's hard.
And then that's going to prepare you for something later on down the line called taxes. So
Correct.
you need to know these numbers anyway and have these projections anyway.
Correct.
Got you. Okay. So then, when you first started making money and you didn't have to worry about those expenses anymore, like, what was one of the first investments, or what do you think your best early investment was into your business? Because people don't understand, yes, because you make the money, you got to put some of the money back in the business.
Correct.
So what was like one of the first things that you did or bought or changes you made that really helped?
I think for me, it's more of having that backstock, right? Like, we talked about it earlier where I'm really terrible with like the inventory, right? But you know, when I started off, I had maybe one color of each. right? You know, now I try to, or my biggest thing is trying to have 2, 3 of the same colors in my back stock so that I don't have to worry about that. I still slack on the inventory part, but at least try to have that. That's my biggest thing, is try to have the back stock of things.
Okay. So one of the biggest things about this podcast, it's about, yes, giving you the motivation to, yes, leave that job. But at least in my own experiences, I really realized like how hard year one really was.
Right.
Because it teaches you a lot about, it's not even about your business, it teaches you a lot about yourself, right?
Correct.
So what is something that in your first year that you learned that you weren't expecting to learn about either the business, about yourself, both? Like, what is something that happened in the first year that you can tell either young Claudia or somebody in your circle that's looking to make the transition? Like, what would you tell them to prepare them for the first year?
Trust yourself. Because honestly, like, I don't think that I trusted myself enough to have my business going already and, like, you know, for this long by myself. You have to trust that you're making the right moves, you're getting the right app, or trusting yourself to make the decisions, whether it be how much you charge, or what you're gonna play, like what services you're gonna provide, or which colors you want to buy, which colors you don't want to buy, what products you think are gonna make you're gonna make use of more in the salon than you are of others. Like, I think you just have to trust yourself to make the right decisions.
So have that faith in yourself.
Right. Correct.
Gotcha. So along that journey, right, we all have that moment, and this is something, again, that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. You have that moment where it's going to be a time everything is going to go wrong.
Yes.
Back to back. You're going to lose your key to the studio. You're going to lock your keys in the car. You're going to miss that email that literally had so many commas in it. You could have retired that day. You're going to miss that email, and it's going to happen more than once, right?
Correct.
So when you hit these low moments, how do you bounce back? Like, what is it that you do to, like, get yourself back on track and not just throw the towel in?
Take a deep breath. Honestly, I have forgotten my salon key. That's not new, actually. But there's like a salon manager, a lady that stays there, so I was able to call her up. She has a key to the salon. Now I have a spare key to the salon. But I have missed messages before. Like, so all these things you're saying, it has happened to me before. And honestly, like, I just have to take a deep breath and realize that these things will happen, but other opportunities, for example, will pop up again. It's happened already, you know? Again, I'm not super new to this. Like, I've been in the suite for 4 years now. So the first year, yeah, I may have been stressed about it, but now I'm like, oh, that's fine. Something else will come up. And it does. So you just have to take a deep breath and just take it day by day. That's it. So.
Did you do anything special, or did you learn any new techniques to help you manage your stress along the way?
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I go to Disney. That's how I manage my stress. You know this.
Oh, true. I didn't want to give it out there, you know.
I'm a Disney adult. It's fine. I'll say it out loud.
Okay, so your trips to Disney help kind of bring you back.
Once you get into that bubble, you forget about everything.
And that helps me. That helps me transition to asking you, do you, because since you go to Disney so often, that means you got money to blow. Do you feel stable, or do you feel like you're still working towards that stableness that you would like to aspire to as an entrepreneur?
I feel like I'm stable, but there can always be more. Like, to me, there can always be more. So, yeah, sure. Like, am I struggling to pay my bills and stuff? No. But would I want more money in my bank account? Of course.
Okay, so how do you personally go about identifying what the right more is? Like, for me, like, there's definitely more ways to always make more money.
Of course.
But then I always try to balance it with how much of myself do I need to sell, or sell myself at all? Right. Like, you know, pieces of my soul to get that more money. Like, how do you envision, or what does more look like to you, and how are you trying to get that more?
What does more look like to me? Um, Again, I'm not struggling to pay my bills. I obviously still go to Disney. But like I want to be eventually I want to be able to sit at home and my salon still making money. You know, whether it be like I start selling a product or whatever. So that to me means more. More for me is being still able to sit at home and making money from what I do. Obviously, I have a very hands-on job. So if I'm not working, I'm not making money. But if I can, I don't even know, like more time at home and not so much time being hands-on for me means more. You know, not necessarily only the financial, but the mental and like the being able to just relax while my business is still making money for me.
So for those people that are out there in the same position as you, what would you say to them on what your process or what you're doing to get you to identify how to get there? Like, is it, oh, you taking 15 minutes out every day to try to think towards it? Or you going to seminars, you got a mentor? Like, how are you trying to, what are you doing to identify, like, how to get that more?
It's so crazy. I don't do anything. But I feel like when I get home, it all reverts back to this being 24/7, right? When I get home, I still, even though I don't want to do things necessarily like texting clients back or whatever, I think about it. I literally think about it all the time. There's no just 15 minutes a day. I'm thinking about it all the time. Like, okay, do I add another person with me? Do I get a bigger suite and then start with the pedicures? Like, it's literally thinking about it all the time of how I can make it more. There's no nonstop thinking about your business. People who have successful business still think about how making their businesses more successful. So that's it.
Would you say you're obsessed with your business?
I am obsessed with my business. That's my baby. That's my baby. Like, I also love doing nails. I'll never not love doing nails. It's my passion. So, yes, that is my child.
Okay, so we're coming towards the tail end of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really want to start trying to do what we can to give the audience things that they can build on to, like, take it from this interview to the streets, as the kids say,
right,
and make it happen. And what would you say that someone that's in that position of they're on the edge of their seat, they're ready to make that jump, make that leap?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say are 3 things they can do to quit their job in the next 6 months or prepare to quit their job?
Oof. Get ready for the wild ride. But 3 things that they could do, again, you can prepare financially, mentally.
Or let's say, what's the one thing that would help them be ready, in your opinion, to make that decision?
I wasn't even ready. So that's hard to tell somebody, you know, but I think ultimately, again, I think back to trusting yourself and trust that you're going to make this right decision and just be prepared for those days that are going to be tough. Because if you think that being an entrepreneur is just like rainbows and butterflies and unicorn sprinkles, like it's not at all, you know, like I think you have to mentally prepare yourself for those hard days, because if you can't manage one hard day, you're not going to be able to run a business. Like, it's not easy. I think that's really it. Just mentally prepare yourself for this wild ride you're about to take. Okay?
Okay, so then along the lines of mental preparation, what do you think has helped you be so mentally resilient in your like, you've been doing this and operating as your own boss for the past decade? Like, how have you been able to continue to do it? Like, what is the thing? Like, it'll probably be hard to answer because you overlook it.
Right.
But it's like, what do you think is that one thing that keeps you able to get up and do it every day?
I love my job, and I have people behind me that support me and motivate me to do my job. Period. Like, that's it. There's nothing else to that. Like, my husband motivates me. My best friends motivate me. Like,
You're welcome.
My family. Shut up. My family motivates me to just keep, like, they're my hype men. It's all back to the beginning, right? They are my hype man. Without them, I don't know if I would wake up sometimes and be like, but I do love my job. You know, like I love what I do. So I think you have to put your heart in what you're doing. It can't just be, yeah, sure, you want it to be about the money, but it can't just always be about the money. You actually have to love it. So I love it. Because I love it, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters to me.
Gotcha. So, in closing, where can people find you? How can they learn from you? How can they be the next nail genie? Or nobody can be you, but
right, correct.
You know, be an apprentice to you.
So you can go on my Instagram, _the nail genie. That's where all my work is. I suck at posting, but whatever. And there's a couple links on there to book and to also, like, there's one-on-one classes that I teach if you do want to learn, like, art or, you know, the foundation or whatever. But, yeah.
And where's the studio?
It's in Hollywood.
Okay.
It's Phoenix Salon Suites, Hollywood.
Okay, cool. Well, again, this has been another episode of the Just Quit podcast. Again, that podcast that wants you to walk away from that job yesterday. You're welcome. Thank me when you get there, and I look forward to finding my next guest from my community out there. Thanks, everybody.